I was locked into my lucid dream with the music playing and I wanted to see how much power I really had. I pushed myself to have an out-of-body dream to see what results I get. My indigo soul was hovering and I felt the motion of going up and down, but I could not see anything, but my body can feel what my spirit was feeling, and the electric energy was all I needed to know I was astral projecting. I realized I was doing what my body was doing, so I had to open my spirit's eyes and not my earthbound body to stay in control. I noticed I was unable to see much even with my eyes open, and I can only move around my room like a ghost. After trying to leave my room to failure, I went back to sleep with the music keeping me locked in. I was back in Dreamopolis and everything was bright and colorful and vivid, and I wanted to test my range. I wanted to see where I would go if I wanted to go to a shoujo world to see what kind of magical girl anime world I would get. My theory was correct. I was in a world made up of anime tropes I've seen over my life. I had to head to a school as a student in this world to find the darkness and save the school while undercover. In the school, I started to feel scared and lost. I started to shrink and look so out of place that I started to hug Dolly and walk around the hallway. Out of nowhere, my guardian dream fairies showed up and had their animal and magical effects mostly hidden. We marched along the hall and I had confidence. We was going to head to the auditorium and put on a show. Singing the song that was playing locking me in the dream was the idea. This would draw out the darkness and we can battle it and save the school. Dolly and I began to sing and dance in the air as the fairies played the music while Spacey Nikki was running things in the back. The people was loving this. The rival magical girls was here along with Prism Black. They was the darkness we had to remove. The school was happy to see an anime-style air battle above them. This night I wanted to try and control my dreams without music. As soon as I started to fall into sleep, I kept my mind awake and tried to have an out-of-body dream to see where I would go, and I was out of my body. I took the shape of the dream sprite and tried to move my plush around with magic and scream to see if anyone would hear me. I was not able to affect things in the waking world as an astral spirit. While in my kingdom, I started to think about the guides I read about lucid dreaming and recall the entry about having something you want to do. It's not good to explore or sit around, and you need something to do. I started to think about a real fairy world I wanted to go to and see what would happen if I left it to chance. My magic paintbrush staff poofed into my hands and I was now in a place I never seen before, tons of cliffs and broken temples and pillars and flying islands and a long path going down. I started to fly looking down at the path below. As I was flying, I noticed I was a fairy body in a bubble of light like many of the fairies in this realm, but I still felt like an outsider and did not want to make a bad impression and tried to not do anything to draw negative attention to myself. Dolly was a green ball of light. We came across a great fairy who was watching all the fairies below live their lives. I was asked if I can find her some walnuts, and I gladly took the quest to get a snack for the great fairy. It became really clear to me that I did not know where to look and if they grow like on Earth. I felt if I just tried to control the dream to just have them would be wrong, since this did not feel like a dream but more of myself in another realm as a mental projection with rules I had to obey. I started to ask the two fairies below for help. Something was wrong. I could not understand them. I figure it was because I was not from their world and did not want to make a mistake. I started to wave but started to wonder if this world uses the same body language humans use and if waving could be offensive. I rubbed the back of my head anime style and flew away looking for the walnuts for the great fairy. I found the walnuts and Dolly, and I was now able to give them to the great fairy. We did notice the two fairies was watching us. I guess they wanted to see if we was going to eat them or do what we set out to do. The great fairy was pleased and told me that I was not able to ask for help, and that is why I could not understand the fairies but can understand her. She even said that they live in the moment and would tell her to get the walnuts herself. She wanted to know if I was doing this for some kind of rewards. I had this to say. With a confused look on my face and rubbing the back of my hair, I said to her, honestly, I did not know what to expect beyond this, and that was as honest as I can be. The truth is, I wanted to do nice things to fit in and not anger the fays since I am not from their world. Flying around, I noticed some fairies next to the remains of a temple, and one fairy had a basket of flowers and toys and gave me a pinwheel and told me, live in the now, don't worry about tomorrow. Have fun and be a free spirit. I guess they know I worry about the future a lot and want me to let go of that kind of thinking. With the pinwheel I could only think of one thing to do with it. I did not even have to be asked. I nicely handed the pinwheel back to the fairy and she was really happy. I guess she was thinking I was going to just take it and go away, but this act of kindness was really moving. I wanted to see where those flying islands lead to. I did not know what this giant cobra was and did not want to get it to attack us. I started to wait till it moved away, and Dolly and I flew towards those flying islands. The highest flying island lead to a long path in a grassy valley with stones stacked up. Dolly and I began to fly down the road, but something strange happened. We was now in a forest and the opening was a wall of light. We went in and was taken. After trying a third time, I started to wonder if I needed to battle this thing or am I doing something wrong. I noticed two fairies watching me and kind of laughing but also giving me a feeling I should go talk to them. The pink fairy gave me some cotton candy and was waiting for me to eat it. I did and was asked, "Is that candy touching your soul?" I noticed a tingle run through my body in bed. I started to nod and smile and they began to dance and cheer and both began to say, "Now you're one of us." This was confusing but the one thing we could do was leave the forest. We was back in our default shapes and looking back we did not see the fairy world, we was now out of their realm. I started to think about what all of that was about and I had a theory. I forced myself into their realm and looked like them and they knew I was not one of them and everything that happened was a test to see if I was good or bad for being a human soul in their world. I did a deed for no reward but to earn trust of the fays. I did not cheat and gave back what was handed to me. I did not kill their guardian beast. I ate the candy putting my trust in them. When they said, "One of us," I think this means they trust me and I wonder if I can go back or did my dream body get new powers.
Bonus 2.
Using music to lucid dream, I was just allowing myself to fall into sleep and woke up at a night festival full of fairies using magic crystals and glowing bugs for lights. This has to be due to how much fun I am having with the event on MapleStory that it invaded my dreams. The fairies was really loving our wings and design. Since this is a forest fairy world, our music and angelic look is amazing to them. We was directed to a game where I had to lift a ball with magic and launch it into the moving mouth hole to score a point. I did not see what prize I won but Dolly took it and put it behind her and it was gone. Reminds me of Hammer Space from Sonic the Hedgehog. The next game to play was explained to me but I was trying to hold back my smile and let them explain but I knew this was Tetris. I sadly enter sicko mode in a matter of seconds and started T-spinning and doing perfect clears and Tetris line clears to the point they had to increase the speed to throw me off where I started to make mistakes and finally crash. After the Tetris game, Dolly and I began to fly around and look at the displays and games while the fairies kept pulling on our wings and wanting to see our outfits and effects. At some point the clouds moved out the way and we saw a beam of light come down and form a road to the moon. The fairies wanted Dolly and I to go see the Moon Princess and Moon Queen. We noticed they stayed behind us cheering and shouting as if they did not want to join us. Looks like the Moon Princess wanted to test my power before allowing us inside. This was working on a phase format where each battle will allow us access to the castle. Once in the castle, Dolly and I flew down the hall and went up a flight of stairs since this type of layout shows up a lot when I lucid dream about castles and knew to find the boss in the ballroom. As Dolly and I got to the top, the walls began to move as if the place was alive, and now we was in an upside down hallway. Everything for me was upside down, but I can see the ballroom was on the first floor and I was high up from the second floor and had to battle some kind of Hydra Manticore hybrid with faces of men I never seen before, so that rules out the theory that you see people you saw in the real world in the dream. The Moon Queen wanted to test my power or something. We had to do battle and the Moon Princess was just watching like she did not care, so this had to be some kind of Moon Fairy test or something, since this is connected to the Fairy Moon Light Festival below. The Moon Queen just stopped fighting and an orb of light appeared in front of me while they just watched from far in the back of the ballroom. I don't know why the battle just stopped, and I felt I should take the orb and see what happens. After the bright light went down, I noticed I was looking at my dream body, and now she had more details and was very shiny. I figure this can be a new look or something I can use from my games and animations, and this is now noted in my list of things to do and use. This would be where the video ends, but due to how long this video took to make, I had way more lucid dreams and a lucid nightmare. I'll show one last dream I had where I went to save a princess. It's also a test for a maze runner. I got locked in a room and had to battle a slime with a skull acting as its face and eyes. It would grow in size, and it looks funny how I was flying around and jumping on the walls in this area. After using magic to return the princess back to her home, Dolly and I looked at the place below and all the flames was gone, but I felt this place could not be changed and we warped back to Dreamopolis. This is where I'll end this great lucid dream of video and move on to my game projects. I don't always do a video like this each month, but every so often I use these to go all out and try new animation tricks and just draw the abstract stuff I see when I go lucid to entertain the viewers. Thank you for watching.